All right, let's try that. Can you hear me now, Tina?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's start by giving a quick introduction. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining today's webinar on the topic of using Warehouse Manager. My name is Julie Zindel, and I'm the VP of Client Experience here at Central Data. And we're bringing these informative webinars on a regular basis throughout this year as a value-added benefit to our clients. Next month, on August 15th, we'll present another topic, which is using IDM labels. So please watch for the opportunity to register for that session. A few housekeeping items. Please note that we have clients attending today who are on various levels of SXE, Web UI on-premise, and Cloud Suite distribution. We will be showing the web user interface only as we are working in the cloud, which has the latest updates applied each month. So we are always on the latest version. The lines will be muted until our Q&A time at the end, but if you have a question, please put it into the chat or the questions section of the meeting, and I will be monitoring the chats as they come in. Our presenter today is Tina Rude, and Tina came to Central Data with experience in both distribution and SXE. She had years of experience on our support team, and she is currently a business consultant on our client experience team. And she focuses on taking clients who are on SXE to Cloud Suite distribution. She is also our IDM forms programmer. So please join me in welcoming Tina, and I will turn this over to you. Tina, I do have the agenda up on the first slide. And
Okay.
this is the format you plan on following today, but I'm going to give you permission to share your screen.
Okay. Let's see here. Are we sharing a screen?
You are. We see it.
You see this, the demo?
Go back.
I'm not sure which screen it showed. It didn't give me an option. Hold on, let me see. Oh. We do this every time. We apologize. I always have a problem sharing my screen. There we go.
We're seeing your warehouse manager slide.
Oh, you're seeing this one? Oh, yes. I don't want that one. That's okay. We'll just move it over here. We'll switch them. There we go. Okay, sorry about that. I do that every time. Good morning or good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. I'm Tina, and we're going to talk about Warehouse Manager today. The first thing we're going to do is, if we want to use Warehouse Manager, we have to give ourselves access. So I'm going to go to my SASO, and I'm going to put in my operator. Everything you need is on the functional security screen. I call it functional, the function security screen. And the module is called WM. So I'm just putting in the WM in a star and hitting search. And this you can do in GUI as well. So I have 16 different screens with WM. You can see I have 5s already, so I'm good to go. But make sure you give yourself access to everything before you run Warehouse Manager. And then just hit save, log out, and log back in, and you should be good to go. Just gonna close out of there. The second part we do is our AO. So we have to go set up Warehouse Manager. Now, Warehouse Manager is most likely set up already in all your systems if you have cloud. So you can set up Warehouse Manager without actually using it. because it's done on the product level. So with that said, you can have warehouse manager set up and only certain products follow warehouse manager. So let's say you have like a little section in your warehouse, maybe it's your counter sale, or you have a high moving area. You can actually set up all those pieces with warehouse manager, and then the rest of your warehouse not warehouse manager. So I kind of like that. So we're in AO, we're in products, and we're in a warehouse manager. The button to turn it on is right here, warehouse manager in use. I'm pretty sure it's always checked for everybody coming in. So as long as you don't have any products checked in ICSW, which we'll cover in a little bit, then this is just turned on and not being used. So a couple settings here. Allow multiple products per bin. So really we have two options. The first two kind of go together. So we have one turned on and not the other. We do recommend directed bin put away. So with directed bin put away, the receiver gets a pre-receiving report and it tells them where to put it. Allow multiple products per bin means the warehouse operator is using a receiving report to show them where the product needs to go, but not necessarily it's the only one in there. So we like directed bin put away. It tells you where to put it and where to put it any overflow. Attempt single bin put away. So if you have a product that comes in, you can attempt to put it in a single location. If the location cannot hold all your products, then it'll find another location first. So it depends on how you want to put away your material. So if you have directed bin put away and on your pre-receiving report, you usually want to fill off your primary first. So what attempt single bin put away is, let's say you have 3 different bin locations. You might have your primary and then 2 secondaries. It'll attempt to put away everything in a bin location that let's say has enough room to put away your whole amount you received. When really you want to backflow the primary and then put the rest in a secondary. So we like to fill the primary bin first. If we don't do that, then we have to run replenishment reports after to fill the primaries. Refill open assignments first. So if you have any locations that are linked to a product that are not a primary or an alternate or an open, then attempt to put the product in the location before attempting to putting it in another new location. So as long as we have an open assigned bin, we want to try to refill those first instead of going to look for a bin and then we have to set it up. Pick only primaries. Don't ever check pick only primaries unless you have project parts that are only in primaries. So pick only primary says if you have a pick ticket with 4 parts, one of them does not have enough in the primary, it will only let you pick what's in the primary. So you want to make sure that you have that unchecked. So in order to pick that ticket then, you actually have to do the replenishment for the bin location, move the product from its secondary to the primary, and then repick it. So don't check that box. Attempt a single bin pick. So if you have products in multiple locations, can one of those be a single pick? So if you have a pick ticket with 10 and your primary only has 5 and your secondary has 10, do you want that user to go take the 5 from the primary and the 5 from the secondary, or just go to the secondary, get them all and move on? Attempt single bin pick. Return available product to primary bin. On a return, do you want the returned inventory to be attempted to put back in the primary? So yes or no. Count committed stock as available space. So this has to do with replenishment of your primary. So let's say you have a location that has a min and a max of 20 and 100, and you have 25 on hand. So at that point, you're not really at your min, so you don't really need to replenish because you're still 5 above that min, but you have an open order for 10. So once invoicing runs tonight, you're going to be at 15 and only have 15 to sell. So that option says, when do you run the replenish? Are you adding in the committed, or are you just looking at the single on hand? So do you want it to see the 25 or do you want it to see the 15? Because tomorrow you're going to see the 15 and you're going to refill it anyway. So it just depends on kind of how you want to do it. And then delete transactions when complete. All the transactions done through here are done on a screen called WMET transactions. And so if you want to delete the transactions when they're complete, you can. If not, you can go to WMET and see them. Okay, and that's really all you have to set up in AO. So that's pretty easy. It just kind of depends on how you want to pick and how you want to put away. So next, we have a couple of SASTT tables to take a look at. So we're going to go to SATT, and the first one we're going to go is bin type. So this is what I have in my bin type. You can set up whatever you want in your bin type. All this is a bin type with a description. So how do you have your warehouse set up? Do you have vidmars? Do you have shelving? Do you have pallet racking? You have cages, counter areas, drawers, open areas, anything that you want, how you describe your warehouses, how you want to set this up. And again, it's just a new, and then you set whatever it's called, and then your description on how you know what it is. And then the other one is size. So we're going to go to the S's here. There's so many of these now. Size type. So this is the same kind of thing. We just tell it what our size types are. It's totally dependent on our warehouse. We can be whatever we want. So this one, I have a couple of examples. This is a 12 by 12 drawer. I got pegs. You can put like pallets, pallet sizes, standard size, drawer size, anything you kind of want to put in here. You can do small, medium, and large. That's another great example too. So a lot of times if you don't want to get too crazy with this size type, do small, medium, and large, and maybe pallet. And that way, if you have small, those ones are kind of like your nuts and bolts, and your mediums are a little bit bigger, and your extra larges or your pallets can be your pallet type stuff. So if you want to make it easy, small, medium, and large. Okay, so next we are going to look at how to set up a product using Warehouse Manager. So we're going to ICSW, and we're going to bring Warehouse 4, and we're going to use, let's use this one. Here is our product. On the General tab, all the way down to almost the bottom, we have our bin location area. So you can see Warehouse Manager. Probably everybody's ever seen it. No one ever remembers seeing it, or you're like, oh, I know what that's going to be used for now. All we have to do is hit Edit, click Warehouse Manager, and click Save. That's really all you have to do to set up a product using Warehouse Manager. If you want to dig further, let's go back, and we can set up some bin types. So this one, it's really only going to go in a drawer because it is small. Allocation type, we can set it up so it has a cube capacity or a size type restriction. So we can set cubes. And we'll go over that in a little bit. So let's say this takes up 1 cube, but our section takes up 4. So maybe we can fit 4 different cubes into that section. Or we can do a size type restriction, or leave it blank. Priority. So priority says, do you want to take FIFO or do you not want to take FIFO? Basically, it will follow FIFO for priority if you want it to. So instead of going to primary first or secondary second, it's going to go to wherever your FIFO layer is, the next one is. And then restrict to down here. So this, if you type it in, it kind of looks like your bin location. It gives you 4. Okay, so it gives you the first 4 of your bin location. So if you have a bin location that is, 11 BBB 2, 2, 2, right? That's following our 2, 2, 3, and 3. Let's say we want to keep everything to this restricted area. So we only want it to hit this shelf or this bay in this shelf. Let's say we only want it to hit this bay, then we can keep it in AA. Totally up to you. Primary bin will update in bin location 1. Secondaries will not update anything. So you can usually come back here and see something in bin loc 1 after you've done some transactions with it through Warehouse Manager. And really that's all that needs to be set up here as well. And again, you really just need to, at least check Warehouse Manager. So now it'll follow Warehouse Manager. I'm going to hit save here. So now we're all set. Now we have to actually kind of set up our products. So we are going to go to WMSB, bin, location, and product setup. And again, all these are under the menu under Warehouse Manager. So you get one little section here for Warehouse Manager. I'm just going to go ahead and click on 4 here because that's my warehouse we're looking at and hit search. I have 10 bin locations set up here. So you can see the first one I have set up as a primary. So that is a primary location for something. It's in a counter area. And you see how there's a drop down here? I can click them all day and they don't do anything. So I'm not sure if Infor intended on being able to change those or what, but it's the only place I've ever seen a drop down. So you can hover on other ones, but don't be confused if you see that. I clicked it, it doesn't do anything. We're going to go ahead and drill onto this first one here. Okay, so we have our warehouse, our bin location. Our description can be anything we want in our assignment. So in our assignment, we have open, which means nothing's assigned to it, primary, a single, an alternate, a staging, or an unavailable. So you can have bin locations for unavailable as well. And you can actually give non-stacks bin locs as well if you wanted to. So this one we have set up as a primary. We also have priorities. And so we can go, the first picked as a 9, last picked as a 0. So we can actually, you can do priorities if you, let's say, maybe the alternate is closer than the primary. You can, let's set up a first pick or a last pick. Kind of depends on how you want your pickers to move through your warehouse. And then we give it a status, so available, in service, inactive, or staging. So we do have to mark those staging ones different. Inactive is no longer being used. In service means it is assigned a product, and available means it's available to use. And then here is our bin types that we found in SASTT, and our size types we found in SASTT, and then our unit type. So this is my favorite part of this, okay? So if you have a bin location as a primary, you can set it as a stocking. Now let's say you also have an overflow, so you have an alternate for this. But the alternate is really pallet racking because they're in cases. And you're only moving, let's say, a half a case or a full case into the primary. Well, you can set up the alternate as a buying or a standard pack. So let's say you buy it pallet or case and you sell it in eaches. Your alternate bin locs can be the different, like the buying unit of measure as opposed to the eaches. And that's how you'll see it in the system. So I think that's pretty cool too. I like that piece. And then standard pack is your other option. Or just leave it as stocking and it'll be the same in all of your locations for that product. And then the size, cube is required. I always just put a 1 in here if you're not going to use that. But here's your length, your width, your height you can use. These are in here. They will populate once you start using it. Or you can put it in now. It doesn't matter. It'll just override it. And then once I have that set up, if you click over here, you can see if there's any products on it. So this one, I actually have a product in it. And then if you click on it here, you can see it's got the on hand. So you can make these changes. And so the biggest one I like too is here's your min and max of 2 and 4. So for this product, for this bin location only, you want to stock 2 and 4 with an on hand of 4. And so you can update that in here. The on hand will change with it changing once you get it on hand in there. It'll automatically update as well. But if you see, I can make changes to it and edit. So min and max is separate from your ICSW min and max. This is the min and max for that drawer. So when you do replenishments, like we talked about earlier, when I said you might have a min and max in your drawer of 20 and 100, but you only have 25 in there. And so for replenishment purposes, it's going to replenish at when it gets down to 20. So this is where we set that. So we don't want to have any more than 4, and we don't want to have any more less than 2. And I have it backwards. 4, 2. I'm used to min and max being first and last. So maximum's first, minimum second. And then these will populate, like I said. And then you could just hit save and go back. And then this screen, I believe we can do data conversions, I think. We can upload those bin locations. So you don't have to manually put them all in, because if you have a warehouse full, there's going to be kind of a lot. Okay. So then once we have our bin locations full, then we're really ready to rock and roll. So we can, let's see here. So for my example, we are going to, let's grab, actually we should do new. We're going to put a warehouse. We're just going to put in a bin location. Description we can leave blank. We're going to have it as open, available. Bin type, we can make it open, and it can be a drawer. And we're going to do it as, we're going to do this one as stocking. And then save. Oops, cube. Remember I said that cube was required? Just put a 1 in there as save. Unless you're using the cubes, then you can absolutely use that function. Perfect. So now I have an open one here. So it's ready to be used by anything that can be put in there. So I am going to run an example. So if we create a PO here, oops, advanced. This is the one we just set up. We're going to order 5. We're going to hit add, and then we're going to finish. Okay, and then we're going to print it. So now we're all ready to go. We get to products. We're going to run a pre-receiving report. Got my setup pre-receiving report here. So I'm going to copy it. And then we are going to put in our PO. Hit save. And then directed bin put away, yes. Stage back order and demand products, you can have yes or no. It just depends on what you want to do with them, if there's any back orders or demands. And then stage tag products, basically that's the same. There's something tag in it. And then your additional bin locs or your line comments, however you are running your pre-receiving report. I just want to show you what one looks like. Mine aren't very pretty. The data isn't great in here. Let's take a look. And make it a little bigger. Oh, I must have grabbed the wrong, unable to find space for, so there you go. So because this couldn't find a space for it, it actually gave me a message that says unable to find space. So then you have to indicate a location and a quantity to be put away. I did do another one before. Here, I'll show you. This one's a little bit better. Okay. So it found me space for 2. So I did a pre-receiving for 5. It's got 2 open bin locations. It told me to put 1 in here, 1 in here, and then it's unable to find space for 3. So if it's unable to find space, it will tell you that, and then you have to go find its space, whether you don't have enough open bin locs or anything like that. And once you run your replenishment reports too, you can clean up the ones that might have a bin location, but maybe not any on hand. and then it'll tell you where it needs to go. So pretty easy. Close this, close this. And then again, I know we talked about our priority. Our first pick is 9, our last pick. Don't forget to add those if you have a bigger warehouse. That way it'll look at what's closer and that kind of thing. You can really set them up nicely there. I like it a lot. Okay, so a couple other screens here I want to show you. WM cross-reference. WMFC. SC. There we go. Okay, so we're going to put in our warehouse and we're going to hit search. So I have a couple of things set up in here already. And if you notice, they're the same warehouse in the same product. So if you drill into this, I say that warehouse 4 for this size type in this product can only fit 4. But it can also be put in a pallet size type of 420. So let's say a pallet size is 420 of these, or a case size. Well, then we can tell it how many exactly we can fit in here. So I can just keep going if I hit new. So warehouse, this product, we'll pick a different one. I'm not sure. I think I have that one set up. We can fit 12 on this peg and hit save. There you go. So you can tell it how many to go into each. You don't have to, but you can. It's very granular. And then our most important one is our WMER. So this is our replenishment primary bins report. We're going to take a look. So we can run this by building, row, bin type. Warehouse, we can do it as a report only. We could commit it or perform it. So if we do it as a report, we're just going to get a report. If we do it as a commit, we're going to have to go to another screen. If we do it at perform, it's just going to do it. Page break on multiple buildings. Initials of your user, put it in whatever you want there. You'll check open orders. And only where quantity on hand is less than 0 and round up or down. I'm going to run this, but I don't think we have anything. Like I said, I don't have much very good WM data in our. We're just going to open it up and make it a little bigger. Yeah, no records were found. Darn it. Okay. So then let's say we commit it. So if we commit it, we have to go to WMEA. Accept, review, run, replenish entry. So here would be anything, yeah, we don't have any records. And then we can do it by operator too. So if we ran it a couple of different times by operator, you can put in your operator as well. And so it'll basically have all of your bin location, do you accept the move, the quantity, the unit, the hazard, and the operator, and you just hit submit if you want it to move. And then if you did the perform, it would have done it right away for you. So 3 different ways you can replenish by just looking at it, the report, and then committing, and then performing. Okay, there is a couple of other screens that we have, of course. Oh, I wanted to show you WMET real quick. So on that one thing, if you wanted to delete the, oh, yeah, we got to put a bunch of stuff in here. You can take a look and see what happened to that product. So in AO, if we turned it off, we would be able to come in here and see history of a product and where it all moved. So if you don't want that information to be removed, just make sure you go back into your products in your warehouse manager and uncheck the delete transactions when complete. And then you can actually see transactions in here of what was done. We have a couple of inquiries. WMIB, oops, WMIB, bin inquiry. So we can do that, and we can do this and search for one. So it tells us that it's a primary, it's available, the bin type, the size, the stocking unit. So all those things that we set up already. Description, I've typed in description there, please don't be confused. Number of times stored, and then it'll give you all your information here for your length, your width, and your height. And you can see there's my 1 for my cube, and then our first stored, our last stored, which will update, and the number of times picked once you start moving along with it. And then however many bin products are in there. So if you want to know what is in a bin, you come here. So if, let's say you have a bin out in your warehouse and there's something not in it and you thought there would be something, you can come back here and look. Bin product inquiry, WMIP. So this, we can do just the opposite. We look up the product and see where it's on the bins. There we go. So we can see that this product is set up for a primary and 2 opens. And then if we want, we can hit the plus, and it kind of shows you all that stuff we set up. Remember our min and a max, 2 and 4. Remember min and max of what we want in the drawer, not our min and max of what we want to order. It's still going to pull off the min and max on ICSW. This is just for replenishment purposes only. And then replenish. It'll take you to the replenishment status query, which we don't have anything in there. So WMIS, we can get to it from there, or we can just get to it from drilling in from the product bin inquiry. I don't have anything in here. So all I did was click on that. Took us to our replenishment status. Okay, a couple of reports. WRMA. Oops. WMRA. WMRA. There we go. Let's do a new one time. So warehouse manager audit. Next. We can put in a product or a class. We can do this, audit product and setup, audit quantities. Basically, it's showing you everything that may be wrong, right? Looking for invalid products. Do we have an open bin ICSW conflict? Anything that is in here that you might need to fix, it's going to run through it. So do you want to only audit product setup? Hit yes and no for the rest. Do you only want to check for invalid products? You can hit yes for this one and no for the rest. Check for invalid bin assigns or statuses. You can do that as well. So anything you want to run here to kind of audit how you have everything set up, you can. And then you just run it. And that is pretty much it. So once you have your products set up and you start receiving them under Warehouse Manager, once your pick tickets will start printing out, you will have directed bin put away, or the pick ticket will tell you the bin location where it's going to go based on your AO options. And then you're all set to go. Okay, Julie, do we have any questions?
We do not at this time.
Okay.
One question is that I have is it's still a paper pick ticket process, correct?
Yes, it's still a paper pick ticket process. So it's not intended to be any sort of paperless system at all. It's just more of a directed bin put away. So how many products do you want in your bin and where are they? So it helps with cycle counting, right? Because then we can use it in cycle counting and the cycle count sheets. Or if you watch the first webinar we did with the cycle counting with the RF guns, it will do the directed cycle counting. So it'll tell you where to go. Go to this bin location, should be this many there. Go to this one, should be this many there. If you don't have that warehouse manager set up and you have, let's say, 3 different bin locations, you do have to manually go to them all and count and see how many are in each one and then add them all up. So the cycle count actually does it by, your bin loc and your quantity on hand. So yeah,
Okay,
otherwise
and
it's just still paper.
we did get one question. Can you use mass maintenance to assign bin numbers?
No, but there is an upload, there is a program to put them all in. And I can't remember if it's a data conversion or what. I'll find out. There is an upload. We can upload them. So you don't have to manually enter in all those bin locations.
Okay, great, because Jennifer has
Mm-hmm.
thousands of them.
Yes.
And also she'd like to know how this works with non-stocks.
You can assign a non-stocks a bin location. So if you have it in like a staging, you can assign a non-stock. Let me see here. I don't know.
Well, an order
I
as
think
needed
we
product
can.
would have a bin location, right?
Yes, order anything with you can have anything with an on hand have the bin location. And I know you can do, it's been so long since I've done it. I think we can. So that's our bin location. So if we go here, products, I'm trying to remember. Geez, Julie, I should have looked at that. I knew staging, you can stage it in a bin location. I'll look up that too and we'll send it back out. I put that on my notes too to look up because I haven't done it in so long and I forgot to look it up.
Okay,
But yes, it does work with non-stocks.
all right, so Jennifer, we'll get you that answer.
Yep, Jenna.
Any other questions? Okay, well, more functionality you may not have known that you have if you're in Cloud Suite or in Web UI. This is Web UI only, but let us know if you have questions and we'll be happy to get answers out, and we'll also send out the recording.
Yes.
Okay, thank you everyone. Have a good day.
Awesome. Thank you.